I have to confess, I am a sucker for quotes on anything by anybody, as long as I can relate to them on a deep level. There are so many quotes on life, love, self-improvement, motivation, you name it, by ancient philosophers all the way to modern day artists. Maybe because I've always liked philosophy. There are, however, some quotes that I have found to be, let's say, the meaning that the author wanted them to convey is not exactly the same as the one that they are being used for. They paint an image of a false reality, and it's generally the young people that fall prey to them. Let's start with number one, and I will start with the one that I think is the most annoying one. Be yourself. The advice of the lazy. While I agree with Chris Cornell that be yourself is all that you can do, and I think that is the meaning of this saying, you can only be yourself. You should not even try to be somebody that you're not. And for that, you know the other saying that goes, be yourself, everyone else is already taken. But I think that this saying, be yourself, is generally used in situations where somebody asks, so what should I do in this situation? Or how should I react to what she told me? In this case, the easiest and the quickest thing to say or advice to give is be yourself. But it's a bad advice because it's telling that person that you are already equipped with everything that you need in order to respond to that person, to react in that particular kind of situation. And while that might be true, and that person only needs to be reminded of the fact that they are already capable of responding according to the situation, sometimes they are genuinely asking, what do I do in this situation? Because they don't know. So this is one. It does nothing for the person asking that question. It doesn't help them. Somebody asking you what to do and you telling them, be yourself, hence the advice of the lazy. And the second is, it stops people from growing. You saying just be yourself might make that person think, well, I am asking because I don't know. And you telling me to just be myself, that means that I either know how to react or I don't. And that makes them feel helpless. Instead of them going searching for an answer, either talking to a specialist or just reading up online, they just end up feeling helpless in the situation. Instead, they should be continuously looking to improve themselves, to improve their capability of navigating different scenarios. 2. When one door closes, another opens. Obviously, the meaning that this saying wants to impart is you don't need to feel hopeless when something fails or ends. You will find something else. But it can be understood as, okay, so this is it. I lost this job. I'm gonna wait for another one to come to me. No, not if what you do is just sit down and wait for anything to fall onto your lap. I agree with Dwight Schrute on this one. People say this quote to justify their lack of action to themselves and to others. If you want to get something, to achieve something, you should take action. Like this old Indian proverb that goes, nothing grows under the banyan tree. You have to step outside the shade of inaction if you want to achieve anything. In fact, this quote is just a fraction of the full quote, which goes, when one door closes, another one opens. But we often look so long and so regretfully upon the closed door that we do not see the one which has opened for us. Talking about inaction, there are 2 other quotes that inadvertently encourage it. 1, this too shall pass, and what goes around comes around. Granted, the first one is meant to be used in situations where there is not much that you can do, but it can promote an unhealthy way of dealing with the situation itself. It might be that you cannot do much about the situation itself, but you could do something to alleviate it, to make it slightly better, or just simply to get your mind off of it. You should not sit there and tell yourself, this too shall pass, and wait for it to pass. The second one is about karma. You get what you give. If you do good things will happen to you. But this quote makes you renounce your power to do something or to say something that could potentially change the outcome of the whole situation. Say a simple scenario. You come across a person who is being rude to you. Now, someone who goes by that saying might just let that person be rude, thinking what goes around comes around. Eventually, the same thing will happen to that person. While it might come true that the same thing happens to them, it's you that is hurt in this situation, and this can hurt you, your image, your future self. That is why you react. You react according to the situation, but a reaction is necessary. Number 5. Tomorrow is the first day of the rest of your life. I really like how positive this quote can be. Whatever we did or didn't do in the past, whatever we do, however we screw up in the present, we can always do better tomorrow. On the flip side, it could be understood as it doesn't matter what we do today or if we do anything, I can always do it tomorrow. There are situations where doing something tomorrow or sometime after is simply not an option. It's procrastination that takes over. You tell yourself, it's okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow is the first day of the rest of my life. There are things that simply cannot be postponed. For example, if you want to start your own business, telling yourself that can be very risky. First of all, because you might never start. And second of all, even if you've started already, postponing things that you are meant to do today to tomorrow, that just means that tomorrow, on top of the things that you have to do for the day, you will have things that should have been done the previous day. On top of that, apart from enabling procrastination, it allows you to also justify procrastination. So start today. Work on anything that you want to work on today. If at the end of the day you realize that you haven't done something right, but there's nothing that you can do about it that day, then don't stress over it. You can always make it better tomorrow. And 6, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. This one is a pure excuse to stay in a miserable situation, be it a job, a relationship, or anything. This is in fact related to post-traumatic growth, according to which trauma survivors report positive changes after having lived a traumatic event. That is because they start to feel good as they start appreciating life and particular things that other people generally take for granted or that they used to take for granted prior to the traumatic event. They start to feel unbreakable because something terrible happened to them and they came out of it alive and well, and maybe even thriving. But this is valid for situations that are completely out of our control. When we have even just some kind of control over something, we don't have to stay there. Why would we linger in a place that doesn't make us happy when we can get out of it? In this list, I have included my top 6 quotes. I would love to know whether you have some favorites of your own. So don't hesitate to leave me a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.